This painting from the Taipei Fine Arts Museum's collection, called Atelier, was created in the 1970s. This work contains both sharp lines that split the frame into geometrical shapes and a sense of poetry. It is a standout example of Xiao Rusong's series called Scenes by the Window. The painting is dominated by a palette of greens and yellows placed on top of one another to form delicate layers. These multi-layered squares are the main elements of the composition, and they split up the frame. The composition transforms our perspective of a classroom in the frame. It flattens a 3D space into a 2D image and creates a magical world of light and shadows. The objects are connected with one another in this world, and they don't just exist in a transparent space. There is a sense of depth in the way they are positioned. In addition to using colored shapes to create tension between the layers, he also uses lines and curves that point in different directions in order to lead your eyes towards the different layers in the frame. He's placed a glass in the bottom left corner of the frame. With hues of yellow on top, the brightest color in the frame. In the past, he often placed small, dried flower petals and leaves around his studio. The painting shows origami sculptures hanging from the ceiling in a spinning motion. He also uses lines on top of different shapes. The painting looks like no more than a flat surface at first. However, it contains multiple layers. Also, when we consider his career and the items in his studio, we can see that the painting actually contains many important motifs from his life, which also appeared in other paintings. This is a profound and thought-provoking work of art. If you examine the painting in detail, you can see there are visible tears throughout the painting. This is not damage to the canvas. The painter intentionally ripped parts of the canvas and added extra layers on top to create a collage. He was experimenting with a lot of methods to make changes to the surface of the canvas. Having spent most of his career teaching, Xiao Rusong has created many paintings of school settings. The Taipei Fine Arts Museum has one of his earlier pieces. Despite its small size, the painting shows his use of simple lines and colors, like his usual yellow, green, white, and a bit of cyan. This simple color combination and composition of a school campus shows that the school is a very important place for him. It's where he painted and interacted with his students. His paintings portray the school as a carefree yet irreplaceable location. The pivotal figures in his works are the students. Therefore, Xiao made a series of paintings on students during the 1970s. This piece from the museum's collection, called Students' Group Portrait, is one of his later works completed in the 1980s. It is the one with the simplest colors. There are many students in Students' Group Portrait. The lines of the students' figures overlap with one another, much like in the style of Futurism. The students' motions appear to be continuous, whether they are sitting, standing, painting, or brooding, or whether the student is seen from the front or from the side. It all looks continuous and multi-layered, much like the windows in the painting Atelier. It is as though he has cut people's side profiles out of paper, and with the use of lines and colors, he leads the viewers to believe that he has fused different layers of space. Students' group portrait shows human figures as transparent. They are like simple figures representing different motions. He uses that concept in his own paintings, so we can see that observing his students is just part of his habit of constantly taking inspiration from life in order to create works that leave an impression.